All right, what's going on, guys? My name's Brian. This is my 2005 Mazda Miata. I do autocross with it. I've had this car for about 3 or 4 years now. It was a base car, you know, nothing was done to it, all bone stock. Well, it wasn't a base car, it was a, you know, high-end trim. It had power windows, cruise control, ABS. That's one of the things I really like about it. And then, you know, I was working for a company called Leroy Engineering, and they started up this race series called LMC, Leroy Miata Cup. I started doing autocross. I'd never raced before. I went down the drag strip a couple times, and that was about it. And I got into autocross. First iteration of this car was, I think it was like a stock exhaust system. I had a fart can exhaust tip, had wheels and tires, and upgraded brake pads, and I think that was about it. Oh, I had Racelands. I had Raceland shocks. Great shocks. But yeah, I raced one season. I had a blast. I think I placed like 7th in the championship, and I was ready to come back for season 2, and I was like, we're just gonna go in and have fun. And the 3rd or 4th race of the season, I won, and I was like, holy smokes, like I'd never won a race before. The feeling's amazing. From that point on, I just seemed to have picked something up. I mean, I did a lot of focused practice. I kept going, and I ended up winning the season that year, which was super awesome. But you know, what wasn't awesome is being the defending champion, because everyone's coming after you. In the 2024 season, I did the floor drop and added the race seat. So as you can see in here, this seat's pretty dang low. I cut the floor out of it, get in close. Cut the floor out of it, right down there. Dropped it 2 inches, and bolted this old Corbeau in. It was quite the challenge to, you know, I'd never done anything like cut a floor out of a car. That was mind-boggling, but you know, we got it done. Put in the race seat. I swapped in a 5-speed mid-season. I also did poly bushings mid-season, and that really, you know, after I won that first race, those really helped amplify that to continue my momentum. So that's all I did for 2024 season. 2025 season, which was last year, I upgraded to the Silvers Neomax coilovers. I have 8K springs in the front, 6K springs in the back, and I was also running the NB2 front sway bar, which is a big old red bar, biggest one you can buy for the Miatas. Little did I know that was actually hindering me. I was overbarred. Mid-season last year, I got the Leroy prototype sway bar, and that made a world of difference. Had so much more grip in the car. Anyways, I'll show you under the hood of this thing. So when I first bought the car, I did a timing belt job, and I figured while everything was apart, I might as well get the stuff all pretty and powder coated. So I have the valve cover powder coated Illusion Purple. I think the intake is like a Galaxy Black. It's got a little bit of metal flake in there. Same with the rest of the, you know, water necks and water pump pulleys. Those are all the Galaxy Black. Last year, I upgraded to a full stainless exhaust. So I put the Racing Beat stainless steel headers, and then I custom fabbed up a full stainless system to accommodate the floor drop because I couldn't fit a regular old exhaust in there. We also have the Brake Master cylinder brace here, and then you can see we have our adjustment for our coilovers. We have the upgraded aluminum radiator, cold air intake. I mean, it's pretty simple under here. It's just a bone stock engine with a cold air intake and an aftermarket exhaust. It's running on the stock computer. And yeah. So we did a bunch of upgrades this year. Well, more like maintenance and upgrades. I'll pass it off to past Brian to tell you all about those. Thanks, future Brian. So today we're here, and we're going to be doing a few upgrades to it to prep up for the race season. First thing is first, we got our poly suspension bushing grease. I put these bushings on probably about 2 years ago or so, and they need a re-grease before they get all seized up. So we're going to be doing some preventative maintenance. I got this Leroy sway bar. We tuned this up for autocross and track. It's an upgraded performance bar with multiple adjustments here, and this should be just perfect for what we need this season. And then I also have some ARP lug studs and upgraded aluminum lug nuts, because you know it would suck to be at the track and have one of our factory studs shear off when we go to do a tire change. So first things first is to get the car all jacked up and get to wrenching. She's on there. Oh yeah. Alrighty, we got the Miata up on jack stands now, wheels off. We can take a peek inside under the fenders. We can see our bushings. I mean, they're poly bushings. I wouldn't expect them to be worn out after 2 years, but they're getting kind of nasty. There's a lack of lube in here, and the lube that is in there is really tough and full of dirt and grime and grit. So this is a good thing we're doing this now before it gets even worse to the point where they're totally seized in there. We can see they're getting a little crusty, but you know what? Race car, whatever. First thing we're going to do is take off the sway bar, and we'll leave that out until it gets time to put the Leroy one in. We'll probably disconnect the bottom of the shock here. Of course, we got to take our brakes off. We'll see if we can take off as little as possible. I don't want to be messing with ball joints or anything like that, so let's get to it. One thing I would recommend you do before you go and loosen all your eccentric bolts is give them a mark with a paint marker or a paint marker, and that'll make doing the alignment later on a lot easier, because you'll be pretty close to where you're wanting to be. Especially with the poly bushings, I'm hoping they won't be moving as much as a regular old rubber bushing. Well, after a lot of swinging and banging and putting everything back on and then getting the jack under it, we managed to lose one of our friends here. I was swinging at it from the side and I missed. So looks like we'll be getting at least one new tie rod end. Yeah, don't forget to take that off before you take it off the car. No, note to self. Alrighty, well, now that we got this control arm off, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of them, and we'll see you when it comes to pressing bushings. Alright, we're here pushing bushing. We got our control arms here. We went and got a press. We're pushing bushing. So we jerry-rigged up this nice piece of steel with some blocks of wood, and we're pushing bushing. We got our boy Colby here. Colby's got a race car. Colby's got a race car. He's racing in the series. Right there. There it is. Woo. So what we got going on here, we just stuck a socket on the end of here. We got an extension, pretty simple. And we're sticking it in there. We gotta loosen this guy up first. Make it go up. Then he's gonna tighten that a little more before he starts pumping it. He's gonna tighten that just a little more before he starts pumping it.
That was basically already tight.
Alright, and then he's gonna start pumping. Get in here, man, get in here. Look at that go.
The action.
Pushing in. Pushing through.
Pushing the bushing.
Pushing, pushing. Alright, we're gonna push until it stops on the bottom of the socket. Alright, that's about done. Now we can loosen her up. We can't do that. Hey, there it is.
Fixed. Popped itself out.
All right, now time to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 more times. I think 19 more times. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right. All right, so it's another day. We're back here in the garage. We got our sleeves all cleaned up. So all I did was take some WD-40 on a rag and I basically wiped them down and I got all the old grease off of them. Let's see, we got a socket here. You can see this is what it looked like when it had all the grease all over it. It was real tacky, sticky. You know, you don't want all that leftover dirt to get pushed back into the bushing. So now that these are all clean, we can go ahead and open up our tub of grease, grease them up, and start pressing them in. We got our two sleeves here. Sit them down there. We got our grease. Oh, that's some thick stuff. Oof. Oof. Scrape it off the cap here. Oh boy. All right. So we'll set our grease right here. It's definitely gonna fall. And then loosen this guy up just a little bit. All right, so what we're gonna do here, I can look inside of these and say, yeah, good enough. So we'll get some grease on our finger. Plop it in there. That's probably a lot of grease, but we can use it on both holes. And I'm just lubing it up, and you can see got a good amount of lube in there. Can wipe some off and go to this one. I'll get some more. All right. Got a good amount of grease in there. So now what we can do, I just push it in just a little bit. I think I can actually just push this through. Well, that worked. I guess we didn't need the press. I already greased that one. These are actually pressing in pretty easy, so. Gonna use the press on this one. All right. Here we go. We got our 2 sleeves pressed in there, nice and good. There's still some grease in there, but basically we're just going to do a mixture of pushing them in by hand if they feel good and using the press. So cue the time lapse. It's a new day. We're back here in the garage. We got all of our suspension pieces back from our buddy Colby's house where we were doing the pressing. So now it's time to just put everything back on the car. I picked up some new front tie rod ends, Amazon special. I think these were like 36 bucks for the 2 of them, so send it. But yeah, let's get to putting everything on. So we're here at the back of the car. We're installing our extended ARP wheel studs. I knocked out the old ones just with a hammer. All you got to do is hit them out. And then you'll want to bend back this plate right here. And then that'll let you get them out, in and out, like that. And then we install them the same way through there. And this one's already installed. Basically what I did was I got some washers right here. You need a little washer stack because you're going to run out of threads if you just put a regular bolt there. So we're installing our washers here. One more. And then I just picked up a nut from the hardware store. This guy was 63 cents. And I'm screwing that on. We're going to do a little spritz with WD-40. Spray the front and the back. And then we'll get her lined up. Seems good enough. And then I just got a big old wrench here. And the car's in gear, so the rear axle isn't going to spin. And I can just pull it right through. And then it tightens up. Get a little for good measure. And then we can loosen that guy off. And she is installed straight. You don't want to use a regular lug nut, because what it will do is it will eat into the washer stack you got here, and then it'll start pulling the stud through crooked. Ask me how I know. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out this one, and that'll be done for the wheel studs. And then I just got to put the brakes on, and then we will be ripping down the road. We got the car wrapped up, ready to put the wheels on. So just an overview of what we did. We installed our wheel studs here. I took all the bushings out and greased everything. Installed the Leroy sway bar, and then I went ahead and replaced the caliper back here. I replaced the caliper on this side because I couldn't retract it. And then I went ahead and repainted all the calipers and put everything back together. Colby's working on his computer. He's working on the hot tune. I had him help me bleed. He was a pedal pusher. Loading up the hot tune?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
She's already ripping.
Mr. Illegal? But yeah, so we're going to put the wheels on this thing, get it on the ground, and take it for a drive. Currently, it's raining outside. But we're still going to rip it. Yeah. She's got aero pressure. No gas, so we're going to the gas station.
Oh my, good thing you live right next to a Sheets.
Should be tight. Everything should be tight. Yeah, I got a lot of toe out.
Yikes.
It only wants to turn.
It yearns for the oncoming
Yearns
traffic.
for turns. What are we thinking? 93 today?
I think you gotta put a 93,
Gotta
right?
put 93. All right. What's up, guys? It's another day here. Actually, the same day I filmed the intro, but it's another day. Present Brian or future Brian, whichever one you feel like, you know, calling it. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of science. I don't know if any of y'all went to school. I didn't. You know, I was raised in a ditch next to a cornfield. Actually, maybe that one. So in school, they teach you this thing. It's called the scientific method. And we're going to try and, you know, resemble some of that. We'll see how close we get. Basically, this season, one of the changes we're making to the car to affect its driving habits is we are going to be changing out our rear brake pads. So normally people run a square stance on the brake pads where it's the same pad front and rear, which is what I've been doing since the beginning of time. I've been running EBC green stuff in the front and the back. But something that's kind of been stirred up recently, one of my competitors, Jonathan, installed a brake bias valve in his Miata. And basically that allows him to change the brake balance of the car so that, you know, when you hit the brakes, you can get a little bit of rear steer going into corners. It basically balances the front and rear, so the rears won't lock up, but they're to maximum performance. With an ABS car, I can't install a brake bias valve because there's one in the factory ABS module, and good luck trying to modify that. So what we're doing is the redneck way, where we're just gonna throw in brake pads. Right now we're gonna test out our stopping distance with the EBCs, and then later on we're gonna test out the new brake pads. The new brake pads I bought are the Carbotech AX6. They're about 0.5 mu higher in a braking force, I believe. So we'll get a little more rear braking action, because with the ABS, the fronts are always chirping and it seems like the rears are never getting to the point of lockup, or they're not at their full potential. So we're gonna do a test here using the scientific method. We're gonna do 3 stops. I'm gonna measure how far they are, and I'm gonna mark them on the road. and then we're gonna come back in a couple days here and we'll remeasure. We got our spray paint, purple of course. All right, so we're gonna use these two signs for reference. I'm gonna mark in the middle of the road. I'm gonna put my chair there so that way we can know where I'm gonna measure from, because I'm using this 100-foot tape measure. I'm gonna do 3 stops from 60 miles an hour. I'll mark all of them. And then at a later date, we'll come back with the new pads, the Carbotex, and we'll see how much shorter it is, or if it's longer, or if it's the same. I'm hoping it's the same because they were a lot of money. All right, I'm gonna go hop in the car and I'll start making runs. All right, we got the old tape of my measure. Yep. Here we go. Oh, we're almost there. Wow, good thing I brought a 100-foot tape measure. That is like right at 95 feet. So we'll do a little dot here. Or we'll do a 1. All right. And well, I guess I'll just go and do that again. Car's already running. So that one was 91 feet, much better. I wasn't being scientific enough. I wasn't pressing in the clutch. I was just letting it stall out, so it was bogging the engine down. So we'll do that again. That is pretty much right where it was, 92 feet. So it seems like the conclusion is, with the current setup I have, we're stopping from 90, we'll say 90 to 95 feet. That's our range. We'll come back here when I have the new Carbotex on and see how much better it stops. I mean, you can see from that chair, that's not very far. From 60, I mean, that's pretty dang good if you ask me. I don't know what new cars do, but it seems pretty good. Got a friend pulling up. He grew up in the ditch with me.
Best buds?
No, we had a falling out.
Damn.
Well, let's clean this up and yep. It's a new day. We're here with the Miata. I got the new Carbotech brake pads on. We got our scientific set all put together again with our 100-foot tape measure. We got our X and our camping chair and a can of paint. And we're gonna go do some runs. So I'm gonna do 1 run just to warm up the pads, and then we'll do our 3 sets. I'll just do 3 sets, screw it. And then yeah, we'll see if these are any better. So it's not very scientific because I had to change both rear calipers because they crapped out on me. So that's no fun. I mean, I bed them in a little bit, I think. I got them hot. They made smells. And yeah, so we're gonna run it and see if it stops any better. I can definitely say, just from driving around corners, it does trail brake better. You get more rear rotation out of the car. So if that's all I get out of it, then I'm fine with that. So let's go run it. It's about where it was. 92. Where's the paint? See if we can do another one that's any better. The brakes are a lot noisier and we get a lot more dust. You can see just from I just cleaned these wheels, and just from the drive out here, the rears get a lot more dusty. So let's go run another one. That?
Basically exactly the same.
go try one more for science.
Really far now this time.
Yeah, it looks like the brakes are fading a little bit. Seems like they're the same. I love spending money. Like I said before, I mean, I feel like there was a bit of a difference from trail braking. You get a little bit of sound out of the rear, so it feels like it's doing more, right?
Oh yeah.
So, whatever. Yeah, I guess that's it for this video. This weekend, I'm going to Toledo to do a race at Northwestern Ohio Region number 1. We'll try and record some of that. Let me know what you thought of this, and let's go racing.